So before we get to Tesla, there's plenty to discuss. I just wanted to share this truly delicious, absolutely incredible interaction between Bill Nelson, current administrator of NASA, and a divisive turd wrapped in pink from the Hatestream media. Remember, the one true narrative, Elon bad. This is so amazing, I don't want to spoil it. Less than a minute and a half. Let's watch this interaction in full.
Do you worry about Elon Musk and the misinformation that he spreads that detracts or distracts from NASA and its mission?
You know, the good news about that is that Elon has a president that he lets run the company, and her name is Gwen Shotwell. And she's done that. She was the 8th employee of SpaceX. And she's done a phenomenal job. And as we say in the South, the proof's in the pudding. Look at the crew to orbit, cargo to orbit. Now we'll see they, along with Jeff Bezos' company, Blue Origin, are going to be our 2 landers. We're going to get our astronauts to the moon in lunar orbit, and then they will transfer into first a SpaceX lander and then a Blue Origin lander.
Right, and I think it's not necessarily how SpaceX is run, as you're saying. I'm just talking about the distraction of the constant headlines about him, and if you all feel like that's a distraction.
Well, they distract you, but they don't distract NASA.
Hello, 911. I'd like to report a murder. Silly wench got what was coming. How incredible. How intentionally divisive. Trying to make this somehow negative, bring Elon into this. Not only does Bill point to the results, which in and of itself, if you have a brain, is a response. We don't really care about these alleged distractions. Look at the results of SpaceX. This dickhead then decides to go for another bite. But I wasn't really talking about the actual results, the thing that matters. I was talking more about the narrative that we're painting. It distracts you, NPCs, not us. Legendary moment. The Hatestream media hates you and hates humanity. Imagine having an opportunity here to praise NASA and their collaboration with private companies doing incredible things, inspiring humanity, and instead, you're on a mission to create a negative headline about Elon Musk and his alleged disinformation. Go fuck yourself, you troll. Brilliant stuff from Bill. Well handled. She will never recover. One final thing on SpaceX, if you guys haven't been keeping up with the drama. The totally not corrupt Biden-Harris administration is totally not actively attempting to slow down the progress of SpaceX because Elon bad. So I don't even know why I said that, but I just wanted to share this from SpaceX. This is one of many public posts we've seen from SpaceX recently, specifically relating to the FAA's totally not corrupt attempts to totally not slow down SpaceX because Elon's totally not bad. I'd just like you guys to note how politely SpaceX says the FAA administrator is either a fucking moron and or a liar. Quote, FAA Administrator Whitaker made several incorrect statements today regarding SpaceX. In fact, every statement he made was incorrect. It is deeply concerning that the administrator does not appear to have accurate information immediately available to him with respect to SpaceX licensing matters. The full takedown here, you guys can pause the video and read in detail if you want. Suffice to say, the too long didn't read is, here's some dumb shit that the FAA puppet of the Biden administration, I don't know why I said that. Here's some dumb shit that the FAA Administrator Whitaker said. Thing number 1, this is false. Here's some receipts, you fucking idiot. Number 2, he said this is false. Here's some receipts, you fucking idiot. Why would you lie or be wrong? Number 3, here's some more shit that this dickhead said. That's false. Here are the fucking receipts, you fucking idiot. Why would you lie? Fuck you. 4, here's another false statement made about SpaceX by this moron. Why would you lie and or be this dumb? Please FOAD, thank you. And now that we've seen a wench from the Hatestream media trying to create some negativity about Musk and SpaceX for no reason, while speaking to NASA's administrator instead of taking the opportunity to unite and raise people up. And then we've seen SpaceX gently suggesting, if you read between the lines, that the FAA administrator is either brain dead and or intentionally lying. It's time to talk Tesla. Tesla stock, currently $254.27 per share. Does anyone remember me roasting people relentlessly just a few months ago? Panic selling Tesla stock, $140 a share, give or take? No, neither do I. I would never do that. Tesla stock just in the last 1 week, up over 10%, and last month, up 20%. Imagine that Tesla stock being volatile. This is one of the many examples of why I recognise my brain is too small to time the market and I don't try. Tesla stock's 52-week high, $271 per share, not far off where we are today. The 52-week low, less than $140 per share. Now, something happened a few days ago, maybe about a week ago actually. Something to do with rates being cut, which obviously had no impact on Tesla stock, totally unrelated. And when I speculated that rates being cut 0.5% the following trading day and the next probably week, we might see some upward movement maybe in Tesla stock, with the caveat that it's very dangerous to predict short-term movements. Well, totally just a lucky guess. And now suddenly, Tesla going from who cares to approaching once again talk of the town. Funny how that works. And this may be the first of many instances in which we see some folks from Wall Street attempting to explain the reason why Tesla stock has moved higher suddenly. And to be clear, it's never possible to know why Tesla stock has moved in any direction. The only way you could possibly know, if you surveyed literally every single person, individual retail shareholder, institutional investor, algorithm, and understand its decision making, pension fund and so on, that either bought and or sold Tesla stock on any given day as to their reasons. And in addition, you have to trust that they were being honest and that they actually knew the underlying reasons in the first place. For example, somebody might say, I decided to free up capital, but the truth is maybe they were just panicking or concerned, right? So we never know. We can't ever know. The best we can do is speculate. And my strong speculation, and that's all it is that directionally speaking, if interest rates move lower over time, it's likely on average Tesla will probably trend higher over time for multiple reasons. I've discussed in detail many times. I know not everybody watches every video, so sorry if you've heard this before, but I'll keep it quick. Number one, if rates come down, more consumers who literally couldn't get a loan for a car can. Suddenly, people who couldn't get a loan for a Tesla can. Oh, imagine that. Two, if rates come down, businesses using finance, debt, lines of credit and so on have lower interest rates, meaning some of their costs to operate come down, meaning they can pass those cost savings on, meaning shit gets more affordable for consumers, meaning more consumers suddenly feel a little bit more comfortable and not so tight financially. Maybe they decide, okay, now I feel comfortable in getting a new vehicle. Simple stuff. Cost of living coming down, more people can afford a vehicle. If rates come down, people who previously would get refused for a loan can now qualify. And previously people who thought, it's too much of a repayment, suddenly go, you know what, we can handle that. Then of course, the other side is just the decision making of investors who might see this stuff and go, oh shit, if that's all going to happen, then maybe I should get in front of it and buy me a little Tesla stock now, especially if I believe rates will continue to come down. Despite the YouTube persona, I am nowhere near arrogant enough to tell you I know what's going to happen with Tesla stock or why it's going in any direction, but I do want to be on the record. I think if rates are trending lower, Tesla stock is probably going to trend higher for the reasons I've just mentioned. But what would I know? After all, I admit I'm too dumb to time the market. I just buy and hold. Been doing that now for nearly a decade. It's worked out okay. And the reason for sharing this is I believe that if Tesla is to continue trending higher, what we will see in the media is people who have a business to promote, research to sell, a book to plug, likely to be conjuring up reasons as to why Tesla stock has moved higher that may or may not explain the movement. But you're not too likely to hear much humility. E.g., well, I don't actually know why the stock moved higher. Could have been anything. Could have been a big institutional investor loading up for the last week. It could have been. Instead, you're likely to hear people speaking with a fairly high level of confidence as to why the stock moved in one direction or another. And if that's the case, just keep in mind the stuff that I've laid out before this clip, because we don't know. Unless we literally survey everybody every day, and then they'd have to still be honest. We don't actually know. The best we can do is guess. If you guys recall, as interest rates went from basically 0 to roughly 5%, the narrative from many very intelligent, by the way, that's extreme sarcasm, extremely dumb folks out there was, well, it must be collapsing because Elon Musk bought X and or is sharing his opinions and or has gone full beggar. No mention of rates moving up and affordability, none of that. Is it possible the same thing's going to happen in reverse? Rates come down, Tesla potentially moves higher, and instead of acknowledging consumers are extremely rate sensitive when it comes to automotive purchases and the whole economy is rate sensitive, we're going to hear other reasons? Well, let's pay attention over the next few weeks and months if rates continue to move lower and see what the narrative is.
With more on the road ahead for Tesla and its stock price as it gets ready to report its latest delivery numbers, is Baird's Ben Callow. He's got an outperform rating and $280 price target on the stock. You know, Ben, what do you attribute the recent significant move higher in the shares?
Thanks, David. I think probably two things, really. Number one, deliveries shaping up very nicely. Good news out of China in terms of deliveries. And then second, all eyes on the Robotaxi event, which is on.
Now, I don't want to be too much of a hater here on Ben. He did say probably, so there's some humility there. Probably, but I am a little bit surprised. Absolutely no mention of rates at all. call me crazy, but I thought maybe if you're going to throw a few ideas out there, that would be at least among them.
October 10th. And I think, there could be some surprises there. A lower cost vehicle, in addition to the Robotaxi and the plan to roll that out in a couple of cities at first is what we think.
Yeah, so I would assume we're all going to get focused on that. As you said, October 10th announcement got pushed back, as we know. So you think the possibility is there of a new announcement for a lower cost vehicle, in addition to assuming they're going to share some significant advances that have been made on full self-driving and the like?
We do. It makes sense with the time.
So I'm going to strongly disagree here. Now, to be clear, spoiler alert, there is a much more affordable vehicle that Tesla will produce on the same platform as a dedicated Robotaxi, with the same modular manufacturing system, Tesla referring to it as the unboxed manufacturing system. This will dramatically lower the cost to produce a vehicle that they sell to consumers, but the odds of Tesla actually discussing this product at their Robotaxi event, about 0.000042069%. Why? It doesn't make sense. This is a Robotaxi event for investors to understand the future of the company as it relates to autonomy, to see their dedicated Robotaxi vehicle. And were Tesla to mention this, it would have a significant impact on Tesla order flow today on existing vehicles, because many consumers who are choosing to buy a Model 3 or a Model Y are not doing so because that's the perfect price point for a vehicle. It's just that if they want the best value for money, that's their only option. If Tesla has a vehicle, $25,000-$30,000 instead of 40 plus, that will suit the needs of many of the consumers today buying a 3 or Y. So why would you tell consumers too far ahead of time a much more affordable, extremely compelling option is around the corner? Please don't buy our vehicles today, wait longer. Would be crazy to do this. That said, Tesla has made it very clear to investors. Remember, we're investors, also some consumers, but there's an important distinction here. This event is for investors, not consumers. This isn't a Super Bowl ad. It's an investor event explaining autonomy. At this investor event, Tesla has already dropped hints in the past about the next-gen vehicles built on this modular manufacturing system. We already know this is coming. But I do not think, due to the publicity around this event, that it'd be in Tesla's best interest to actually share details about a more affordable vehicle they will sell to consumers. This would be insane. That said, I've been wrong in the past. I was adamant Tesla would never buy Bitcoin, and I was completely and utterly wrong about that. I just like saying that because it doesn't happen often. I was so wrong. Completely wrong. I mean, that feels good. So, to be clear, yes, definitely a next-gen vehicle that they'll sell to consumers coming on the Robotaxi platform, but odds of them actually detailing this, even mentioning it at the Robotaxi event, close to zero. I also suspect, and again, I don't know for sure, it's hard to predict the behavior of high IQ morons, but I suspect the reaction from Wall Street to this Robotaxi event will be something along the lines of, oh, I'm so disappointed. Because that tends to be what happens when Tesla details extremely important, super bullish details about the future and their current rate of progress moving towards astronomical opportunities every fucking time. Hey, does anyone remember what happened to Tesla ahead of the Cybertruck event, their first autonomy day, unveil a humanoid robot? I rest my case.
I mean, they talked about releasing a lower cost vehicle as early as the first quarter of next year, and so to get that out in front of people, I think that makes sense from a timing perspective. And this is not the next generation vehicle, but it is a lower cost vehicle, probably produced in Austin as well as in Berlin. That will allow them to use their current factory footprint before they start expanding into new factories.
Yes. We know about this as well. This is the interim vehicle, just to be clear. There's the next-gen vehicle, fully modular manufacturing system, but there's also an interim range of vehicles likely to be a more affordable 3 and Y, probably literally called the 3 and Y, using some of the innovations that Tesla's developed for the modular manufacturing system that don't require completely new production lines and new factory build-out. Tesla estimate this gets them to roughly 3 million vehicles per year. Currently, they're around 1.8, around 2 maybe at most. But I also don't think we're going to hear anything about that at the Robotaxi event, but we do know it's coming, although a lot of people seem to have forgotten.
Is that in your estimates? Can you model out what sort of revenue stream that looks like?
Thanks, Sarah. Good question. We have only 25,000 units in Q4 of next year, so volume numbers likely need to go up, at least for us, I think, for the street in general. Now, they will have to take lines down to bring up the new vehicle. So it will be a lumpy 2025, and you're switching out volume of a higher price vehicle with a lower cost vehicle. So there will be some movement in numbers there. But I do think most importantly is having a new vehicle out. There's really only been the S, the 3, the X, the Y, and the Cybertruck, and so I think this is new product out there could get the stock moving even higher than it is now.
Ben, just a couple of years ago, the idea of even asking whether or not Tesla can compete with the likes of Chinese EV makers would seem to have been heresy. But I asked the question of you. Many others are asking it as well right now. I mean, how do you see that global competition evolving, given what has been this appreciable increase in terms of the quality of Chinese EVs?
I think that Musk has been very clear that the biggest competition is coming from China, not just in vehicles, but also in autonomy and full self-driving. And so that, we watch that very closely. Tariffs into Europe definitely help Tesla. There is a different segmentation with Tesla versus some of their competitors, where Tesla's viewed as a little bit of a higher end. The Model 3.
Ben's hit the nail on the head with this point. I've made the analogy many times in the past. Tesla is the equivalent of an iPhone versus every other electric vehicle being an Android. Tesla has that premium, higher end perception, and it's earned. The value for money, unmatched. Performance, unmatched. Safety, unmatched. Literally the safest vehicles ever. Software, unmatched. If you want the best, Tesla, the only choice. But to be clear, there is a massive market out there for Android phones. That said, Apple does take the lion's share of profits in the smartphone market with their iPhone product. Now, the one thing that's a little bit different, Apple appears to be intent on incrementally improving their products, convincing a bunch of fanboys and fangirls to upgrade for the extra 3 quadrillionths of 1 pixel in the photos that they can't even tell are there. Lame. And maintaining roughly the same purchase price or even increasing them on their products. Whereas Tesla is adamant they will continue to drive the cost of their products down as much as possible, as fast as possible. So eventually, we're going to have a very strange dynamic in which the best vehicles on the market by far, the best value vehicles on the market by far, the safest vehicles on the market are also going to become among the most affordable. Things are going to get very wild when that happens. We already know today Tesla's Model Y is selling more units, more vehicles at a price point 50, 60% higher than the world's number 2, 3, 4, 5 selling vehicles. Just imagine when Tesla has a next-gen vehicle that's even more affordable than that. If it's already at a massive price premium, already Model Y, the world's best-selling vehicle, it's going to get wild.
Refresh they did in China is helping sales, and I think that we'll see a Model Y refresh as well in China that should help with sales there as well. But when we get to the actual numbers, when they report numbers, probably 2 weeks after the 1010 event, all eyes will be on margin because they have been doing things like paying down interest rates or giving 0% financing in China. That did impact margins last quarter. We expect it to impact margins this quarter as well.
I think this is reasonable from Ben. All eyes, at least on Wall Street, are likely to be absolutely fixated on Tesla's gross automotive margins this quarter. Kind of like how all eyes were fixated on Amazon's book sale gross margins when Amazon Web Services was brewing in the background. Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm still buying the stock, so the less people that get it, the better for me.
Yeah, and on full self-driving itself, what are you seeing in terms of performance with wherever they are right now? 12.5. I know they've incorporated generative AI, and I hear a lot of progress being made. Is that really the case?
We think so, and we've had the opportunity to ride in different iterations of the version 12, and then most recently a 12.5 maybe 2 weeks ago. And there's been the pace of progress is accelerating, and this is really because as they've talked about, they're no longer compute constrained. They do have this millions of cars on the road gathering data there, and it is a full end-to-end machine learning versus in the past or the pieces of the software that people had to code. And so I think that's one thing that we're trying to emphasize is that this is accelerating at a faster pace than it has in the past. And there's so much skepticism because Musk has always been 1 year out. But we do think that they're getting closer to this.
I've got to give a lot of credit here to Ben. Everything he just said is true and on point. He understands the concept of Tesla's end-to-end software, which was trained purely on video. They've deleted a fuckload of puzzle pieces, a jumble of C++ code, many tens, actually hundreds of thousands of lines of code gone. Major improvements. The huge fleet of vehicles, millions collecting data, no longer compute constrained. I mean, it sounds like he's got a bit of an understanding of what Tesla's actually doing with autonomy and possibly the distinction between this approach and that of companies like Waymo. Impressive. And Ben's been covering Tesla for many years, probably close to a decade now. It's good to hear some folks on Wall Street from that world starting to recognize what's happening with autonomy. Although there is still a fairly strong disconnect between overall consensus on Wall Street versus what I personally think and even what folks like ARK Invest think is around the corner. Just a reminder that ARK's 2029 Tesla fair valuation is $2,600 per share, a 10x over 5 years based almost entirely on the deployment of Tesla Robotaxis at scale. So the tide may be starting to turn, but certainly not all the way there yet. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. Plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.